Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mudas, or waste. Muda is a Japanese term for waste. There are 7 of them. This won't take long because they're kind of obvious when you look at it. So let's get started. Getting back to what we're talking about on lean, only the things that the customer is willing to pay for add value to a product or service. If a customer's not going to pay for it, it's considered waste. And what you do with waste, you get rid of them if you can, or at least minimize how much they impact. Good companies have very little waste in their processes. Just think of a fast food restaurant, how good they are at that, how efficient they are. Watch Walmart, watch how they check out. Just watch how they bag up the merchandise, that little carousel they use. Good companies get rid of Muda. Again, the Japanese word for waste is Muda. There are 7 categories. Some people have been coming up with some others, but we're just going to stick with the basic 7. So let's get started. Waiting, just waiting. And I know what this is. You know what this is too. We've all been to the doctor's office. We've been to the dentist's office. I was in a company. They were having a company-wide meeting, and there's about, I don't know, 100 people in the room. Well, the guy that was going to talk, the manager, was about 9 minutes late. So he did the math and well, that 9 minutes late cost the company about $1,800, right? 9 minutes cost $1,800 because people were waiting. They're getting paid to wait. This is a Muda. Get rid of the waiting. Overproduction. I'm going to use a office example. I was doing a class for a college, and what they did is they needed books. They got the books. Well, they needed 13 books. Well, they ordered 20. All right. So we had 7 books extra, and I was off-site. I was actually at the customers. Oh my God. 23 emails, phone calls, and how I was going to get those books back to the college, which was about 60, 70 miles away. That is overproduction. They knew they needed 13. They ordered 20. There you go. And I spent more time dealing with those 7 books than I did with the other 13. That's overproduction. Oh, and by the way, when they got them back, guess what they had to do? Send them back to the publisher and try to get a refund. And they had to pay an restock fee too. Overproduction. Having more than what you need. Transportation. This is just kind of moving things around, right? Customer's not going to pay to move things around. So what you want to do is minimize that, right? That's why there's a big push to get rid of warehouses. We'll talk about inventory later on, but mostly it's because you put it in inventory, you got to move it around to put it back where it needs to be done or it needs to be used. That's transportation. And think about that. Think about little pieces of paper that float through the office too. One of my first projects 20 years ago was getting rid of paperwork for a quality manual. Again, transportation. I'm showing this processing. This is an actual customer service process. It's not the one my client had, but this was the model they used to develop theirs. You've been in those where you call somebody, hit this button, hit this button, hit this button, right? That's a lot of processing to get an answer. What you need to do is just call somebody who has the answer. Keep it simple, right? I've also seen people, a restaurant, they fool around with presentation and things, which is important, but they overdo it. They go overboard, right? Do only those things that the customer will pay for. Little bennies, I'll call them. The customer's probably not going to pay for the cost of those bennies a lot of times. Processing. Defects. This is actually a little suspension arm on a car. The company that made that, this is a casting, had a defect and they had to recall all these. Didn't make a lot of money on that product that year. And think about it in the office, billing errors, things like that. If you've got a defect, you got to rework it, you got to redo it, you got to fix it. Defects are a waste. The customer's not going to pay for your mistakes. I'm going to use a kitchen example for motion. I was sitting there watching this restaurant. It wasn't fast food, but it was just a traditional one. Watching how much that cook had to move around just to get what he needed and put it out and play. I mean, plates were in one spot, eggs were in another. It was a short order cook. He had to go get his utensils someplace else. He had to move the food over to the waitress. A lot of motion. Customers aren't going to pay for that. Even in the office, they're not going to pay for your motion. Inventory. Just look at all that money sitting on the shelf, not making money. Look at that. And look at all that. This is all going to be obsolete. It's got a shelf life. Walmart distribution centers. I don't know the exact, but I heard it's about 8 minutes. That's how long something stays in that building. So it comes in off a truck. It goes onto another truck that goes to the stores. They don't have anything like this. This is not something the customer's going to pay for. You could have 20 refrigerators sitting in your warehouse. I'm not going to pay for those. I'm only going to pay for the one I buy. And think about offices too, right? How many forms have you thrown out that are obsolete? Paper forms or books or everything. The inventory is bad. And we'll go on to the next slide. Let me give you some examples. So what does an inventory do for us? It hides things. If you got supplier issues, you won't know that, right? Because you got inventory to compensate for their bad quality or bad delivery. If you got processes, they're not capable. Inventory will cover for that because you've always got spare parts to make up if you got a bad process. Productivity problems, training, right? If you got an inventory, somebody's not trained correctly, they make a billing error or something like that. Not a problem. You got inventory to cover for you. Setups, quality problems, imbalanced lines. I always like to say what you want to do is get that inventory level down and expose those problems and then fix them, right? Inventory is one of the biggest wastes I see, one of the biggest mudas. So what you want to do is pick that scab and see what bleeds. Basically Muda. Anything the customer's not willing to pay for is Muda. Reduce it, or better yet, get rid of it.